Hey everyone, and welcome back to Left Unattended. In this episode, if you've been listening since the beginning, you might notice something just a little bit different today because it's just me. For the first few episodes, I've had the incredible opportunity to have conversations with guests and people who share their stories and their struggles, their aha moments. And I love those conversations, I really do. There's something about asking the right question at the right time and watching someone kind of discover something new about themselves right there in real time. And that's what I love about coaching the most. And here's what I realized. Some of the best conversations that I actually have are with myself. And I don't mean that in like I'm my own best friend kind of way. I mean that in actual practice of asking yourself the questions that no one else is asking you. So today, I want to try something. I want to walk you through what happens when I sit with a question and really sit with it, right? Instead of just jumping to the easy answer. And maybe if you're up for it, you can do this with me. So, because here's the thing, we're really good at answering questions if you think about it. We've been trained our whole lives to have the answers. When someone asks you, hey, how are you? We say, fine. If someone asks, hey, what do you do? We've got an elevator pitch ready of our jobs or who we think we are. But what if the most interesting stuff isn't in those answers? What if it's in staying with the question just a little bit longer? All right. So here's a question I've been sitting with this week. What am I avoiding? Now, my first instinct, and maybe yours too, is immediately say, nothing. I'm not avoiding anything. I'm very self-aware. Thank you very much. At least that's what I told myself right away. Here's the answer that gets me off the hook. That's the answer that lets me move on and feel like I've addressed it without really digging deep. So if you let me sit with it a little bit longer, what am I actually avoiding? Well, I've been putting off calling my friends back, but that's kind of surface level. But why is that? I'm busy. I got a lot going on, all right? But I've watched 2 hours of TV last night, so that's not really it. Let's be real. I don't really know what to say. I think I'm getting warmer. When I don't know what to say, that's usually my clue. I'm like, it's coming. But why don't I know what to say? Oh, because you're going through something hard right now. And I'm worried I won't say the right thing. I'm worried I'll make it about me somehow, or I'll offer advice when they just want someone to listen, or I'll listen when they actually want advice. So what I'm really avoiding isn't the phone call. It's this discomfort of not knowing how to show up perfectly. See what happened there? I went from not avoiding anything to uncovering this whole thing about perfectionism and the fear of being inadequate as a friend. And I only got there by not letting myself off the hook with the first answer. This is what I do with my own life constantly, and what I help other people do as well. We ask questions, and then we ask it again and again. And we keep peeling back layers until we get to the real thing. You know, when you're upset about something really small, like something someone didn't text you, or you made a mistake at work, or whatever that may be, but the feeling is like way bigger than the situation really warrants. That's usually a sign that there's something underneath. Like the surface thing is just the doorway. So let me ask you something, and you don't have to tell me, this is just for you. What's one area of your life where you keep having the same problem show up time after time after time? Maybe it's relationship stuff. Maybe it's work. Maybe it's how you spend your time or your money, whatever that is. Now, here's the real question. What are you getting from keeping it this way? I know. That sounds confrontational. And I'm not getting anything from my problem. I want it to go away. But stay with me, because we don't keep going and doing things that don't serve us in some way. Even when they're painful, they're usually protecting us from something scarier. For example, I'll go first. I have a pattern where I overcommit. I say yes to everything, and then I end up overwhelmed and sometimes a little resentful. And for years, I kept telling myself, I just need better boundaries. I just need to learn to say no. Right? That's what I have said to as a consultant. It's what I've heard consultants say. But when I really sit with it, when I ask myself, what am I getting from overcommitting? I was getting to feel needed. I was getting to feel or avoid the fear that is, if I said no, people would stop asking. And I really liked getting the opportunities. I was just getting to stay busy enough that I didn't have to sit with the harder questions about whether I was building a life I actually wanted or just a life that looked productive. That's the stuff you don't get by just skimming the surface. You have to be willing to sit in the discomfort of really asking. Here's another one. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Honestly, I hate this question, by the way. Everyone asks this question, but I think we're asking it wrong because the real question is, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? I think the real question is, what's worth doing even if you do fail? Let that land for a moment. Because failure is going to happen and disappointment is going to happen. Things not working out the way you hoped, honestly, it's part of the deal. It's part of life. So what's worth it anyway? What's worth the risk of falling flat on your face? What's worth doing badly before you get good at it? What's worth being a beginner at? For me, this episode right now, being the only voice in the room and not hiding behind a desk and not having someone else make it interesting, I could absolutely fail at this. You could be listening right now thinking, bring back the interviews. And that would sting a little bit, probably a lot. But this is worth doing because I think there's something valuable in modeling what it looks like to think out loud, to sit with hard questions, to not have all the answers, but be willing to explore. You know what's interesting about questions though? The good ones don't actually have answers. They have exploration. Who am I becoming? It's not really a question you answer and then you're done. That's a question you live with. You ask it this year and then the answer is different than last year. And you ask it in different context. Who am I becoming as a friend, as a professional, as a person navigating their own life? Or how about this one? What do I actually want? Not what I think I should want, not that would make me look good or make other people happy if I fit the plan I made when I was 22. What do I actually want right now? And that one's scary because the answer might require change. It might require disappointing people. It might even require admitting that the thing you've been working towards for years isn't actually it. Here's what I have learned. You can't get to where you want to go if you don't admit where you are today. You can't make real change. You're only willing to ask the comfortable questions. You can't discover who you really are if you keep accepting the first answer you give yourself. That's what this episode is, really. It's an invitation to spend some time with the questions you've been avoiding, to sit with the discomfort of not knowing, to peel back the layers and see what's really there. You don't need me to do this. You don't need a coach or a therapist or anyone else. Those things can help. You just need to be willing to ask yourself the real questions and then actually listen to what's coming up. Ask the question, then ask why, and keep going until you hit something that makes you go, ooh, oh, that's where the good stuff is. And listen, I'm not saying I have it all figured out. I'm doing this right alongside with you. I'm asking myself these questions and sitting with this discomfort, peeling back my own layers. I just had a little bit more time and practice with it. But here's the whole point of being left unattended, right? To see what we discover when we're willing to really look and deep within ourselves. All right, that's it. That's what I have for this episode. I want to thank you for sitting with these questions with me. If this resonated for you or if it brought something up that you want to explore more, I'd love to hear about it. Become a guest. And hey, if there's questions you think I should sit with for a future episode, send it my way. Sometimes the best questions come from someone asking them first. So until next time, stay curious, ask the real questions, and see what you discover when you're really willing to listen to yourself.